All right, so to start, the most important thing, probably, at least if you are anything like me and you don't want to go somewhere that you don't need to go to, tomorrow. So in your plan book here for Tuesday, there is no school. And that is because, who knows why? It's election day, so lots of our schools are used for polling places. And even though it is not a presidential election year, it is November 2nd, which means it's election day. Well, tomorrow's November 2nd. Yeah, you are absolutely right. So November 2nd is always the day when people vote. Every single year, even when it's not a presidential year. Every 2 years is more important than every 1 year. Every 4 years is obviously very important. So today, we're going to do 331. And you guys have that in your packet of 3.2.5 and 331. So this, 331, is going to be due Wednesday. So when you come to class on Wednesday, 331 is going to be due with 325. Right, so 325, they're attached. Antonella, is there a reason we're not in our plan book? Did you think this didn't apply to you? When I said everybody get your plan book out? You were what? Because I'm pretty sure all you're saying is that you weren't doing what I asked, and I'm confused about why. Did you say you were writing it on your hand? You're going to write a week of homework on your hand? I don't think that's a good idea. Antonella, are you doing what I asked you to do? Because I think you should just stop trying to argue for what you were doing. Is there anyone else that needs an individual invitation to get your plan book out? Stop this game, guys. All of us teachers talk about this on the weekly. This is a strategy to help you. Quit fighting against us. We're on the same team. Wednesday is going to be 332. And that's all we're going to fill out for now because we keep ending up shifting things. So that's all we're going to fill out for now. But I'm going to give you the next homework packet because if you got a good head on your shoulders, tomorrow when you're at home with this free day off school, you might get a head on homework. And that would be a really, really good idea. Like wake up in the morning like normal, eat some breakfast, do some schoolwork, and then still you got like the whole afternoon to do whatever you want. So you're going to get 332 and 333 today. That's probably Wednesday, Thursday's homework, but I'm not going to fill in Thursday yet because I'm not quite sure. Cool? Now plan books can go away. Yeah, I don't care. Oh yeah, yep, I will see you at lunch. And now because your math binder should be out, I'm giving you the next homework, which can go in the current work section just behind your other stuff. This goes in the current work section. This is fixed. These should not be shown in here. Wait, we can talk after class. That wasn't cool. This goes in current work behind what you're looking at right now. This goes in current. Put your name on this right now. I still got way too many people turning in assignments without names. You already have this. You can have another copy if you want. Because I already gave you the translated version. So I think you should already have that. You're welcome. Because I missed the middle table like always. You guys are just on my circle back, right? Alright, so 3.2.5. I've had a couple questions about stuff on the back, but we'll get there. Go ahead and start checking, please. I'm going to grab out mine for any questions that we want to go over together. Guys, remember, if you're just putting down answers on your homework papers, that is not going to continue to be accepted. Because at this point, our math is tough enough. So for 82, yours obviously might not look like theirs. Because what they give us is this, which we might be able to solve on our own. The other way that we can do it, though, if we're like being asked to draw a diagram, is saying, well, this division is breaking something up. So why CPM has this set up, and if you went to homework help, you would have seen something similar to this, is saying division is reverse multiplication. So the answer of that division will tell us that actually -4 times whatever that answer is, that will give us -8. Now the tricky thing here is, my unknown number, is it going to be positive or negative? Positive. So here we should just have an answer of 2. Another way you could have written it, and a couple kids I helped, we wrote it like this, is showing that division can also be stacked. Right? So division can be stacked, kind of like a fraction. For B, is my answer positive or negative? It's negative because we only have one negative. Again, refer to the posters if you need. All right, multiply, divide, different signs, it's a negative answer. Different signs, it's a negative answer. So -24 divided by 2, what do we get there? -12. And 17 divided by -1. Yeah, -17. Questions on 82. 83, I'm not showing out the work because you should have the work showing out. A is -9. B is -18.7. Unless you ask to go over this, you're telling me that you're fine. It all makes sense and we're good. If you didn't get those answers, check your order of operations. Come to math lunch if you want to ask questions and work problems with me. 83 continues on the back on my worksheet, so I broke it up. So guys, C and D are on the back. Make sure we realize that these are different sets of parentheses. So like, I got to do 8 plus -3 inside that set of parentheses. B4, guys, what happens when there's a parentheses up against a parentheses? That is multiplication. So C there was -28 on the back, and D was +6. Layla, was C and D part of what you wanted to go over? So, because we did have the request to go over it, here we go. So like I just said, that's multiplication. What's 8 plus -3? Well, good guy, bad guy, right? What do we get? 5. Now, whenever I see a mixed number, I don't really love mixed numbers. You could either make it improper or break it up to being 5 and 3/5, but they're both negative. So when I think about multiplication, I'm going to keep my numbers from getting out of control big. Guys, give me your attention up here because I doubt any of you did this like this, but I'm going to show you another strategy. I'm trying to give you tools to make your life easier. -5 and 3/5 is a -5 and a -3/5, right? Because like we talked about last week, both pieces of this number are negative. No one needs to be writing or doing anything right now. We should just be looking at the board. I don't know why people are staring at their fingertips. So 5 times -5 is -25. Nice multiplication. We've done a lot. 5 times 3/5. Remember, 5 is just like 5 over 1. So if this is 5 over 1, I do numerator times numerator. And denominator times denominator. Well, guys, remember, we know the whole answer is going to come out negative. So we could have just written, a negative over on our answer and then ignored it. That's what we did last week. We said, think about the negative and then forget about it for a minute. What's 15 over 5? 3. So this is 25 and 3. We get negative 28. Now also, like somebody said, 5 3/5 is 5.6. So we could have made this 5 times negative 5.6 if you wanted to go the decimal route. We could have also, if you wanted to go the improper fraction route, because that's a route I almost always take, is 5 times 25, 26, 27, 28. Oh, look at that. Cross-reducing. Guys, eyes back up on the board. Check it. If I turn this into an improper fraction, I get negative 28 over 5. And we said when fractions are multiplying with each other, same number on top as we have on the bottom cancels out. Look, negative 28, that's my answer. So if the 5s, if I cancel those out, so actually the improper fraction way is probably the easiest. Not easy, just easiest, because I tried all 3 and this seems to work out the nicest. In D, what's 4 minus negative 3? Well, these make a plus. Careful, not always positive, but it does make a plus. So minus a negative, remember they both get used. So here it's plus a positive, but we don't want to just default to saying positive. So we get 7 from that parentheses. What's 5 divided by negative 5? No, careful. If we think about it like this, 5 divided by negative 5, which this is a perfect example of why we're doing today's lesson. That's a negative 1. A number divided by itself is 1, but there's 1 negative, so it's negative. So that's how we get 6. Sorry, that kind of looks like a B, but that is a 6. Questions? In 84, I'm not going to help with that. Sorry, but this is one where I'm going to refuse, because I bet if you need help, read the math notes box on the front of this handout. Oh, look, on the front of this handout, there's a box that says math notes. Huh, I wonder who put that there. Two numbers with a product of 1 are called multiplicative inverses. And if I want to get a whole lot less fancy, and I compare 8/5 to 5/8, since they're telling me that these are multiplicative inverses, guys, what happened to the fraction? You flipped it, right? So another name that we call this is reciprocal. Everybody underline reciprocal. I'm going to give you a nickname for this. The reciprocal is the refliprical. That's all we do. The reciprocal, it sort of sounds similar, so in my head I just make it the same. Reciprocal is refliprical. So all we do is we take whatever number was on top and put it on bottom. Take whatever number was on bottom and we put it on top. The only caveat, 0 has no reciprocal. Can't do it. Doesn't work. Can't flip 0 over. Because 0 is 0 over a number. And if you flip it, it's a number over 0 and it just doesn't work. It breaks the math. So your multiplicative inverses back here, refliprical these fractions. And then I got to speed up a tiny bit. I'm taking a long time on this. 85, you got options. 85, there's not a right answer, so I want to see what options you guys come up with. 86, I want to go ahead and look at that one, I guess. before we simplify, I mean, you could have looked at cross-reducing and said number on top, number on bottom, number on top, number on bottom. But if I don't, what do I get here in 86A? Yeah, 35 over 35. Guys, we should be checking. Shouldn't be doing your homework right now. We should be checking with me, so you should be able to throw answers out. Over here in B, what goes in my missing fraction? 13. Yeah, 13 on top, 8 on bottom, because that's how we make a 1. The math notes box told me about that. Down here in C, 27 over 31. In D, ooh, this one's tricky. What goes down here? Yeah, what goes down here? Ah. What do all these problems have in common? Reciprocals. And they multiply to make 1, right? I can write this out and say this actually equals 1. So they all make 1. So a number times its reciprocal equals 1. That's interesting. A number times, so like 2 halves, right? 2 times a half, that equals 1. Now, notice what this says here. Examples from class, keep this out. So get out 331. You're probably going to need graph paper also. We always probably need graph paper. This is your first problem, though, on this paper. Anyone feel like reading? My voice is already kind of hoarse and it's Monday. Farah, you want to read for us? Do this short paragraph here.
A fraction is really just a simple representation of the quotient.
So, hold on. So these are some tough words. Symbolic representation of the quotient. So remember, this funky word right here is the quotient. Means the answer to a division. Right? Quotient, answer to a division. So go ahead and keep going, Farah.
Answers to a division problem of 2 quantities. The fraction 3/4 means 3 divided by 4 equals 0.75. In this lesson, you will work with the dividing fraction, positive and negative, mixed numbers,
The fraction 3/4 really means 3 divided by 4. If we make it a decimal, then it's 0.75. Can anyone remind me why it's like how we could prove Aiden?
Like quarters.
Yeah, but why? Tell me the mathematical. I know, like, sure, we say this is 3/4, but why?
$1 gives 4 quarters and 3/4.
But why? Why does $1 need 4 quarters? What is $1?
100 cents.
So, when we take this division, this fraction, and make the denominator into 100, guys remember decimals. We need a 10 on bottom, or a 100 on bottom, or a 1,000 on bottom. So Aiden says if we make this 100, this becomes 75. That's why. So with your teammates, and guys, this is on your worksheet. It's on your worksheet. You got your worksheet? Need an extra copy? I'm going to come back there in a second. Try these problems. Talk with each other about what they might convert to a nicer fraction. What decimal then might they become? Why do you have worksheet out? Yeah, what? Why isn't this out? Words, Katie, words. I literally, we just checked over our homework from last night. So where's 325? It should be attached to this. So why would we check this and we not have this out? I don't care. Why would we just check this? You have this out. You have this out. So you didn't fill in, you didn't take a moment to write down, like, after you wrote this, you wrote back a couple of things. And there, he did this together and kind of fizzle it out on this. If we finished this, I wrote the answer up.
All of these papers need to come out of this. So what makes this layer of the green apple? How many apples are coming from it? And this, I literally just said the words, keep this out. Well, are you blocking me out? Are you fighting it out? Guys, I'm gonna break up this group if we aren't gonna help each other. Okay, so I shouldn't have to come back here and notice that paper tomorrow. You guys need to work in group and say, hey, get paper. Okay, if this isn't working, we're breaking this group up.
Yes, over 100, but also
There should be things written on our paper. Even if they're just ideas, it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. There should be things written on our paper. Time for some random cards. So we just said the reverse of what's on your paper. So the conversation you should have been having, and guys, I'm going to tell you, we're real close to making random groups. There's a couple groups in here that work out really good. There's a couple groups that I'm kind of nervous about because I'm wondering if some of our conversation was what candy did you get this weekend instead of the questions that are actually here. So what mathematical operation does a fraction represent? Jesus is not here. Lucas, what did you guys talk about? What's a fraction represent? Division. So a fraction is really just division, which we've said is really just multiplication. Weird. We'll come back to that. But for now, let's agree that it's division. Farah, so when you guys looked at this, is there a way to write 2 divided by 8 as a fraction? Ooh, careful. So that is not correct, but that's fine. So cross those out. So this tells us, and guys, this little symbol, it took me a long time to realize this. That symbol means put a number over a number. Do you see it? If the dots are our numbers, one of these numbers goes on top and one of these numbers goes on bottom. So this actually tells us to make this 2 on top, 8 on bottom. So the division symbol, when we make it a fraction, tells you first number goes on top, second number goes on bottom. And that's all it really asked me to do. So as I move on, working through part B, Layla, how could I write this as a fraction? The one I'm pointing at, double I. Oh, sorry, Davis. I should do what Smith does and put your cards down in front of the screen, but since I record all my classes, I'm weird about like putting your names down in front of the screen. Yeah, the 72 goes on top. The 5 goes on bottom. What do we know because the number on top is bigger? Is this gonna be more than 1 or less than 1? More than 1. If I have 72 pizzas for 5 people, each of us is getting a lot of pizza. Vanessa, what about triple I? 51 over 94. So remember, if we go back and check some vocab, I and triple I are proper fractions, whereas double I is improper fraction. So C says, why do you think the denominator of a fraction cannot equal 0? I want you guys to chat with each other about this for a second. I keep talking about stuff like this, like pizzas and people, right? Or whatever. Maybe it's pizzas and classes. But chat with your team about why can't the denominator be 0? Take a minute or two.
Well, there is. If it was what about like instances where he's talking about like say there was 0?
I might need to bring some desks around so you're not alone. But yeah, try to turn it off now, right? Yeah, so like this is asking about that. Well, why doesn't it work? Or 72, like you said, for sure. Yeah. Well, you do have the slices. You don't have any people, and you don't even have yourself. So if you don't even exist, how does the pizza exist? Right? Who got the pizza? Have you ever asked your phone what happens if you divide by 0? Miss Martin, do you happen to have an iPhone?
I do.
Oh man, you're an iPhone user. Would you, perchance, ask Siri what happens when you divide by 0? Hey, you're gonna have to be quiet if you want to hear it.
Hey Siri, what happens when you divide by 0? Hey Siri, what happens when you divide by 0?
They may have changed it.
It says dividing by 0 is undefined.
Ah, they made it the real thing. Okay, so it used to be really funny. Do you know, Katie? Hey, notice how I said Katie, and yet 3 other people are trying to talk over her? Y'all need to fix your, rudeness. We're getting more comfortable, but what's happening is we're, being rude to each other because we all know each other. Fix it. Katie?
I'm pretty sure they didn't fix it. I'm pretty sure you have to ask what's 0 divided by 0.
Oh, yeah, try that. What's 0 divided by 0? Thank you, Katie.
Hey Siri, what's 0 divided by 0?
Imagine that you have 0 cookies, and you split them evenly among 0 friends. How many cookies does each person get? See, it doesn't make sense. And Cookie Monster is sad that there are no cookies. And your friends are sad because they don't exist.
So, and it used to say, and you are sad because you have no friends.
Yeah, that's what it used to say.
And then I think Apple went in and they're like, well, that's kind of mean because you have no friends. So guys, I want you to write on your paper something about if you divide by 0, there's no people. There's nobody to get the cookies or the pizza or the whatever. If you have a number divided by 0, Layla was back there talking about this. She said, if you have 74 pizza slices, right? You get a bunch of pizza, you get a bunch of slices, and you divide by 0, there's nobody there, not even you. Dividing by 0 says I'm not even here. Nobody exists. It's like Thanos went to town snapping his fingers, and everyone's gone. Right? Which it would take them, but there's mathematical says you'd never actually delete everybody since you only ever killed half of everybody at the same time. But that's a whole thing. So, does it make sense that you can't divide by nothing because there's nobody there to divide by? At a minimum, if I have no friends and I order pizza for a party, how many people are there? 1! Even if I have no friends, there's still me. Lucas?
How I describe 0 mostly the close time is it's a black hole. Whatever, if this is especially for 0 times anything is gonna be 0.
Yeah.
It is a black hole. Shoot. It is 0. What?
I like your shoop noise. Shoop. So, when would it be most useful to use a fraction to find the answer to a division problem instead of using long division? I can barely say long division. Write on your paper A over B, please. These are letters A and B right there, not numbers. It's not 9 and 6. I know sometimes our 9s and 6s look like A's and B's. Anyone have an idea of when the fraction is a lot nicer? Even when, like, we don't even need to think about our calculator. Ooh, any number, when B is a number that can become, sorry, we're kind of making this symbols, 10 or 100, sorry about that little dot, or 1,000, or 10,000. When the denominator is a nice number, because we know our decimal names are tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Sound like a snake up here. One of my wife's friends wore an anaconda over the weekend. Big old, like, one of the put on your shoulder snakes. Yeah, I know. It creeped me out, too. All right, now you're going to need your graph paper. Now you're going to need your graph paper. I want you, so go ahead and throw an 88 on your paper.
88.
Guys, we're already on problem 88 of this chapter. That's impressive. 88. I'm going to write these in different colors, but you don't have to, because obviously most of you just have a pencil. Negative 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by negative 3. No, we've done all the examples on that paper, so you can put it away if you want. Negative 2 over negative 3. And actually, the first one they gave me that I forgot to write down, up on the line above, is negative 2 over 3. Are these, so here this negative is out in front. So there are 4 different ones with the negative in front, with the negative on top, with the negative on bottom, and the negative in both places, top and bottom. I want you to talk with your team. Are these all equal to each other? Do any of them not fit our set? Why would that be? So chat for like a minute or two. We got about 10 minutes left. Are these all equal to each other? Do any of these not fit the set? Or what can you identify that certain ones have it? What makes a division? We said fractions are divisions. What makes a division become positive? Does 1 negative or 2 negative become positive? So think about a debt of 10. You owe me $10, and you're going to pay it off over the span of 5 days. 5 is positive. Your debt is negative. So negative 10 divided by 5. That would be negative 2. Every day you got to pay off a debt of $2. So you might want to sit somewhere different so you can see those posters. See where it says multiply, divide? The orange poster. The pink one says different signs. Negative answer. So same signs. The green poster, same signs, is a positive answer.
Other than the -2, the -3.
Mia,
Yeah.
wrap it up here in the next like 10. I should really take those cards out. All right. Yeah.
What'd you guys talk about here? Ooh, how can you tell which one's a positive and which one's a negative? Well, okay, so which ones will become, can you give me colors of which ones become positive? Oh, and that's it? Just red. Because all the other ones only have a single negative. Notice there's a single negative, single negative, single negative. So can you tell that for the class? Sweet.
All right, bring it back up. Mia's going to tell us which one of these things is not like the other. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. Why is red unlike the others?
Both the numbers have negatives.
Everybody, give me your eyeballs. Look that way. The orange poster that says multiply and divide. If you are in this room and you are wanting a reminder on what happens when they have the same signs, and we're talking about two numbers. I need to put a big sign there that says two numbers. Two numbers that have the same sign. Like what I wrote in red, will make a positive answer. As opposed to when there's one negative, one negative, one negative, even though it's on the bottom, all of these would be negative. So anytime you have a negative divided by a negative, they're going to both disappear and become positive. Kylie, you alright? You look like you're spacing out. Yeah. Long weekend, lots of candy. So we are probably going to have to start with, we're not about to pack up. I still got 5 minutes, but this is such a weird idea. On your graph paper, I want you to write down 1 3/8 divided by 3/4. 1 3/8. Kylie, you right? Yeah, now you know why I'm... Guys, normally when teachers start talking with you, it's because we notice you might not be doing what we're asking you to do. And I'm the teacher that just tells you, hey, I'm picking on you. Because Dikshita, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So, man, what does this mean? So go ahead and chat with your teammates about, is there a way that we could give, forget about this stuff, is there a way that we could give like a story or like a situation to this and talk about what does this actually mean? Just go ahead and chat with each other.
That's a donut, right?
You can't see what I'm doing. So, John, I heard one of my favorite words, I think, coming from your group. And I think I heard it from a couple groups, actually. But, John, you want to share your thoughts?
Yeah. So, well, I was so what I was thinking is that you do a full donut. Yes, I'm using donut.
Ah, I forgot. You yelled at donut. Somebody said pizza. I heard it.
We'll do pizza. We'll do pizza.
All right, so I'm convincing John to do pizza. So you got a whole pizza.
Okay.
Maybe it's like a dessert pizza.
And then you have 3/8.
And then you have 3/8 of a second pizza. Okay, so we got our 1 and 3/8. There's our first number. It's what we have. Can you tell me what we're trying to do? Go ahead.
Basically divide,
I'm trying to take leftovers to school. Now today I brought macaroni, but I'm trying to take pizza to school. I want to take 3/4, 3 slices out of 3/4 of the pizza. So not necessarily 3 slices, only 3 slices if the pizza was in fourths. So hold on, this will make a lot more sense. What's my pizza actually cut into? 8s. How many 8s would 3/4 be? This would be 6/8, right? So first off, 3/4 will make a lot more sense if I do 6/8. It's the same math, right? Because this is the same thing. So now, when I go to take my leftovers to school, and I gotta get done with this question and get you guys out of here. I'm taking 6 slices on day 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, look, that is 3/4. You can kind of see it. But then, guys, hold up. On day 2, do I have 6 slices to take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5 slices to take. Hold on. This is really important. Skip 94 from your homework for now. It's not going to make sense. I don't want you to try it when it doesn't make sense yet. We'll do it tomorrow in class. Skip that. So it's Wednesday. You know what I mean. Wednesday. Skip 94 for now. Yeah, they think I can keep the days straight.
I know I can sing tomorrow too.
Like, well, every time that I do, like, okay, tomorrow I need like a Friday or something.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean.
My sister would get like, no, I don't know what you're saying.
We know what you mean. Tomorrow is Monday when it is a Friday.
That's their goal. I get asked me to count callers and take lists.